As the first Nintendo-developed game on Nintendo Switch in almost 2 months, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has a lot to live up to. There's another 2-month gap between now and the highly anticipated ARMS, which begs the question, is an enhanced port enough to hold players over? When Deluxe was first announced, I was tempted to say no, but now that I've played it for around a week, one thing is clear. This is the definitive Mario Kart experience. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has an astonishing 48 racetracks, 43 characters, 5 battle modes, and 8 battle mode tracks, making it the biggest Mario Kart game ever. The transition from Wii U to Nintendo Switch is a clear benefit, turning the game's already gorgeous graphics into some of the most beautiful I've ever seen thanks to the Switch's HD output when docked. Undocked, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is perhaps even more impressive. I was an avid Mario Kart 7 and general 3DS player, and the Switch continues to amaze me every time I play a game in handheld mode. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in handheld is smooth, pretty, and completely on par with the docked version. Perhaps this is more of a compliment to Nintendo Switch itself, but the ability to have Mario Kart 8 with me wherever I am is an important detail about Deluxe that's easy to overlook. Whether it's on a bus or in line, whipping out Mario Kart 8 to play with my friends is a borderline magical experience. Breath of the Wild is what sold me on the single-player relevance of the Switch's handheld mode, but the multiplayer aspect hasn't had a chance to shine until now with the near-simultaneous release of Puyo Puyo Tetris and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The short span of a Mario Kart race is a perfect fit for Nintendo's first big multiplayer Switch game, though 4-player split-screen and handheld mode could run into some frame issues. 4 players isn't where the fun stops though. You can play with up to 7 other people via local wireless, and although I couldn't test this out myself due to not knowing enough people with review copies, it's still a big feature worth mentioning. Altogether, just being put on Switch gives Mario Kart 8 Deluxe inherent value. The presentation in this game is outstanding. The soundtrack is one of Nintendo's best, featuring musical throwbacks to the likes of Super Mario Land and Galaxy, and all new versions of classic Nintendo tracks such as Mute City, whose vitality and complexity combine with the painstakingly detailed environments to transform the game from a racing game with solid mechanics into a Mario fan's dream. It may be a racing game, but taking a moment to look around and explore tracks such as Super Bell Subway and Toad Harbor psychs me up for the world Super Mario Odyssey will have in store. Of course, many Wii U owners that played the original Mario Kart 8 will be picking up Deluxe as well, and Nintendo knows this. As soon as I booted up Deluxe, I was happy to see that every mode, character, and track was immediately unlocked and ready to play. The process of turning the game on and jumping into my first race took less than a minute, with no menus, tutorials, or anything else to slow me down. Deluxe is fully aware of the many returning Mario Kart 8 fans that will be playing it, and I couldn't be happier with how this was handled. That isn't to say this is the same exact game. In fact, a lot of things have changed, all of them for the better. There are 200cc time trials, which greatly increase the single-player longevity. Adding to this, a new tier of mini turbo boost incentivizes longer drifting. My favorite change has to be the changes in how items work. Previously, players in first place would basically only receive coins in their boxes, with maybe a banana or green shell here or there and the very occasional super horn. Staying in first place was difficult without protection, boring without toys to play with, and an overall frustrating experience. Deluxe has solved this in 2 ways. First, players can now hold 2 items, one active item and one in reserve. This alone makes staying in first place much more fun. It makes the entire race, no matter what place you're in, a lot more strategic. I was able to utilize the coins I got without being upset about pulling them, because I always pulled something else exciting alongside them from a double item box. This leads into the second way that Deluxe has improved how items work. The item distribution has changed. While I haven't figured out all of the nuances for the later places, being in first place is a lot more enjoyable thanks to the reduced pull rate for coins, increased rate of green shells and bananas, and even the addition of bob-ombs appearing fairly often in first place. Super horns are a lot more common this time around too, letting the best of the best protect themselves from blue shells more reliably. There are even 2 new items, Boo, which makes opponents lose their items, and the Feather, a battle mode exclusive item that lets the user jump over obstacles. Both of these are new to Mario Kart 8, but they're actually nostalgic returns from older Mario Kart games. They're both welcome additions that make the game more diverse. Speaking of battle mode, it's been completely overhauled. I'll admit to never being the biggest Mario Kart battle mode fan, but I've actually found Deluxes to be quite enjoyable. All of the new courses are visually stunning and feature interesting gimmicks that spice up the battle, with my favorite definitely being Urchin Underpass. Based on the Splatoon stage of the same name, Urchin Underpass has ink all over the course and plays Splatoon music during the battle, even switching to Now or Never during the final minute. There are 5 different modes available. Balloon Battle, where players gain points for hitting others with items and lose half their points when their 5 balloons are popped. Renegade Roundup, which pits the 2 teams against each other in a game of glorified kart tag. Bob-omb Blast, a more chaotic balloon battle featuring only bob-ombs. Coin Runners, which covers the area and coins that players compete to collect the most of. And Shine Thief, where players must grab a shine sprite on the map and hold onto it without being hit by another player. The modes are different enough to never become stale, while the 8 different courses help provide enough variety even for people who aren't fans of all the modes. My favorite mode is Renegade Roundup, but it really only works with a large group of players. Thankfully, computers can be substituted in for genuine human friendships, which are unfortunately not included. What is included though is all of Mario Kart 8's DLC. This seems like an obvious part of the game, but with some companies holding DLC back from enhanced ports, it's certainly worth mentioning. I like to cite Nintendo as usually doing DLC correctly. Mario Kart 8's DLC was a fantastic deal in itself, and its inclusion alongside new characters, items, and battle modes easily makes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe the greatest Mario Kart experience of all time. Whether it's online or local, the potential fun of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is incredibly high. Replayability is infinite, jumping into a race is instant, and racing with friends, computers, or all by myself in time trials is a simply delightful experience that surpasses any 4+ player titles the Switch will have to offer until Splatoon 2. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe may share the majority of its content with Mario Kart 8, but 8 is already such a polished, near-perfect title that Deluxe's additions make picking it up a no-brainer. The new battle mode is effectively a new game in itself. If you're looking for something entirely new, then you might be better off going with Puyo Puyo Tetris. But if you don't mind something a little more familiar, with a little more players and a little more content, then do yourself a favor and get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, then subscribe for more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe content, follow me on Twitter for updates, and make sure to join me every Saturday at 4 PM CST to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on stream. Don't forget to leave a like and let me know in the comments, who's your favorite new character in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?